Foundation by Cyrus the Great, 559 BCE. The story of the Persian Empire begins with one of history's most remarkable leaders, Cyrus the Great. Born around 600 BCE in Anshan, a region of Persia, modern-day Iran, Cyrus emerged as a visionary leader who united disparate tribes and warring factions into a cohesive and powerful empire. His leadership marked the birth of the Achaemenid Empire, a state that would grow to become one of the largest and most influential empires the world had ever seen. Cyrus's rise to power began with the overthrow of the Median Empire, led by Astyages, his grandfather. This dramatic moment not only consolidated Persian power, but also set the stage for Cyrus's broader ambitions. Unlike many conquerors of his time, Cyrus exhibited remarkable foresight and a strategic mind. He understood that his success depended not just on military might, but also on the support and loyalty of the diverse peoples he sought to rule. After his triumph over Media, Cyrus turned his attention to Lydia in 547 BCE, defeating its wealthy king, Croesus, in a campaign that demonstrated his military ingenuity. The capture of Sardis, Lydia's capital, expanded Persian influence into Asia Minor. Cyrus's reputation as a formidable leader grew, but what truly distinguished him was his approach to governance. Cyrus's most famous conquest was the Neo-Babylonian Empire in 539 BCE. Following the decisive Battle of Opis, Cyrus entered Babylon, the jewel of Mesopotamia, not as a despot, but as a liberator. He was greeted by the local population with open arms, as he presented himself as a restorer of order and protector of the gods. His respect for Babylonian culture and his decision to restore religious artifacts and free the Jewish population exiled there earned him admiration and cemented his legacy as a compassionate ruler. This philosophy of benevolent rule was codified in the Cyrus Cylinder, an artifact often regarded as the world's first declaration of human rights. Written in Akkadian cuneiform, the cylinder outlines Cyrus's policies of tolerance, religious freedom, and respect for the traditions of conquered peoples. These principles were revolutionary for their time and became a cornerstone of the Persian Empire's governance, fostering stability and loyalty among its diverse subjects. Cyrus's achievements were not confined to the battlefield or throne room. He also laid the groundwork for administrative reforms that would ensure the long-term stability of his empire. By establishing a centralized government with local autonomy through satraps, provincial governors, Cyrus created a model of governance that balanced control with cultural respect. Cyrus's vision of unity and inclusivity set the tone for the Persian Empire's expansion and longevity. His leadership style, marked by wisdom, tolerance, and innovation, made him not just a conqueror, but a builder of civilizations. His untimely death in 530 BCE while campaigning against nomadic tribes in Central Asia brought his remarkable life to an end, but the empire he founded continued to grow and thrive under his successors, cementing his status as one of the greatest leaders in human history. The First Charter of Human Rights. Among the many accomplishments of Cyrus the Great, his most enduring legacy is the Cyrus Cylinder, often regarded as the world's first charter of human rights. This extraordinary artifact, discovered in Babylon in 1879, provides valuable insight into the principles that guided Cyrus's rule and set a precedent for governance and human dignity in the ancient world. The cylinder, a barrel-shaped object made of clay, contains inscriptions in Akkadian cuneiform, detailing Cyrus's policies following his conquest of Babylon in 539 BCE. Rather than using his victory to oppress the conquered population, Cyrus sought to restore order, respect local traditions, and promote religious tolerance. This was a revolutionary approach in a time when most empires relied on fear and subjugation to maintain control. One of the key declarations on the cylinder is Cyrus's claim to have liberated the people of Babylon from tyranny. He criticizes the previous king, Nabonidus, for neglecting the city's religious customs and imposing harsh rule. Cyrus portrayed himself as chosen by the Babylonian god Marduk to restore balance and justice. This claim reflects his deep understanding of the importance of respecting local beliefs and using them to legitimize his authority. The Cyrus Cylinder also details the repatriation of displaced peoples and the restoration of their religious sites and artifacts. Most famously, Cyrus allowed the Jews exiled in Babylon to return to their homeland in Jerusalem and rebuild their temple. This act of kindness and religious tolerance earned him a unique place in Jewish history, and he is even referred to as the Anointed One in the Bible's book of Isaiah. Such policies demonstrated Cyrus's belief that stability and prosperity could be achieved by respecting the cultural and religious identities of his subjects. Beyond its immediate impact, the principles enshrined in the Cyrus Cylinder transcended its time, influencing future concepts of governance and human rights. The ideas of freedom of religion, protection of cultural heritage, and the humane treatment of conquered peoples became hallmarks of the Persian Empire. By allowing local populations to worship their gods and maintain their traditions, Cyrus fostered loyalty and reduced resistance, ensuring the stability of his vast and diverse empire. The cylinder's significance lies not only in its content, but also in its symbolic value. It represents a turning point in history where the ideals of justice, tolerance, and respect for humanity were codified into policy. While some historians debate the extent to which these principles were consistently applied, there is no denying the profound impact of Cyrus's vision. His policies were a stark contrast to those of contemporary rulers, who often sought to erase the identities of conquered peoples. In modern times, the Cyrus Cylinder has been celebrated as a universal symbol of human rights. It has been displayed in museums worldwide and referenced in discussions about governance, justice, and cultural understanding. While the context of the ancient world differs significantly from today, the values embodied in the cylinder remain relevant, reminding us of the enduring power of leadership grounded in respect, inclusivity, and compassion. Expansion under Darius I, 522 BCE. The reign of Darius I, often referred to as Darius the Great, marked a transformative era for the Persian Empire. After ascending to the throne in 522 BCE, Darius embarked on a series of military campaigns, administrative reforms, and infrastructural projects that propelled the empire to its zenith. Under his leadership, the Persian Empire became the largest empire the world had ever seen, stretching from the Indus Valley in the east to the Balkans and North Africa in the west. Darius's early reign was characterized by efforts to consolidate power. Following the death of Cambyses II, the empire faced internal revolts and instability. Darius skillfully navigated this period of turmoil, defeating pretenders to the throne and re-establishing order. Once his rule was secure, he turned his attention outward, initiating a wave of territorial expansion that defined his reign. One of Darius's most significant achievements was his campaign in the Indus Valley. By subjugating regions of modern-day Pakistan and parts of northwest India, he extended Persian influence into South Asia. This expansion not only increased the empire's wealth, but also facilitated cultural and commercial exchanges between the East and West. The integration of the Indus Valley into the Persian Empire created a vital link between the civilizations of Mesopotamia, Persia, and India. In the West, Darius pushed the empire's boundaries into Europe. He subdued Thrace and Macedonia, establishing Persian dominance in the Balkans. These campaigns brought the Persian Empire into closer contact with the Greek city-states, laying the groundwork for future conflicts, but also enriching cultural exchanges. Darius's campaigns in these regions demonstrated his military prowess and strategic vision, as he sought to secure the empire's frontiers and expand its influence. Darius was not merely a conqueror. He was a visionary administrator who understood the importance of governance in maintaining an empire of unprecedented size and diversity. To manage his vast territories effectively, he introduced a system of satrapies or provinces, each overseen by a satrap governor. This decentralized approach allowed for local autonomy while ensuring loyalty to the central authority. The satraps were supported by a network of royal spies, often called the king's eyes and ears, to monitor their activities and prevent insubordination. Another hallmark of Darius's reign was the construction of the Royal Road, a network of highways that connected key cities across the empire. Spanning over 1,500 miles, the Royal Road facilitated rapid communication trade, and military mobilization. It was a marvel of engineering for its time, complete with way stations and rest areas for travelers. This infrastructure not only strengthened the empire's cohesion, but also boosted economic prosperity by enabling the flow of goods, people, and ideas. Darius also standardized the empire's economy, introducing a uniform system of weights, measures, and coinage. The daric, a gold coin named after him, became a symbol of Persian economic stability and was widely accepted across the empire. These reforms stimulated trade and commerce, connecting markets from the Mediterranean to Central Asia and fostering economic interdependence among the empire's diverse regions. Despite his administrative and economic successes, Darius faced challenges in maintaining the empire's vast expanse. His attempts to conquer Greece were met with resistance, culminating in the Battle of Marathon in 490 BCE, where his forces were defeated by the Athenians. This setback, however, did not diminish the overall strength and influence of the Persian Empire during his reign. Darius's rule was a period of unparalleled growth and innovation. His vision extended beyond military conquests, encompassing governance, infrastructure, and economic reform. By uniting diverse peoples and cultures under a single administrative framework, he solidified the Persian Empire's status as a global superpower of the ancient world. Administrative innovations. One of the most remarkable aspects of the Persian Empire under the Achaemenid dynasty was its innovative approach to administration, particularly during the reigns of Cyrus the Great and Darius I. Governing an empire that spanned 3 continents and encompassed diverse cultures, languages, and traditions required a level of organization and sophistication that was unprecedented in the ancient world. The administrative systems introduced by the Persian rulers not only ensured the stability and longevity of their empire, but also influenced governance in subsequent civilizations. The cornerstone of Persian administration was the establishment of satrapies, or provinces. Darius I formalized this system, dividing the empire into around 20 satrapies, each governed by a satrap, or provincial governor. The satraps were often local nobles or members of the royal family, ensuring they had a vested interest in maintaining order and loyalty. This decentralized system allowed for a significant degree of local autonomy, enabling the satraps to govern in accordance with regional customs and traditions while remaining accountable to the central authority. To oversee the satraps and ensure their loyalty, Darius implemented a network of royal inspectors, famously known as the King's Eyes and Ears. These inspectors traveled throughout the empire, reporting directly to the king about the activities of the satraps and any potential threats to the stability of the empire. This system of checks and balances reduced the likelihood of rebellion and ensured that local governors adhered to imperial policies. Another key administrative innovation was the implementation of a standardized taxation system. Each satrapy was assessed based on its economic capacity and resources, and taxes were collected accordingly. For example, regions rich in agricultural produce contributed grain, while areas with mineral wealth provided gold or silver. This system ensured a steady flow of revenue to the imperial treasury while minimizing the financial burden on any single region. The revenue was used to fund public works, maintain the military, and support the lavish court at Persepolis. The Persian Empire also introduced standardized systems of weights and measures, facilitating trade and economic integration across its vast territories. This standardization reduced disputes, increased efficiency, and encouraged commerce, making the empire an economic powerhouse of the ancient world. Additionally, Darius introduced the daric, a gold coin, and the silver shekel as official currencies, creating a uniform monetary system that simplified trade and taxation. Communication and mobility within the empire were significantly enhanced by the construction of the Royal Road. Spanning over 1,500 miles from Susa in Persia to Sardis in Anatolia, this highway connected key cities and regions of the empire. Equipped with relay stations and fresh horses, couriers could traverse the entire length of the road in a matter of days, a remarkable feat for the time. This infrastructure not only facilitated the rapid transmission of royal decrees, but also boosted trade and cultural exchange, fostering a sense of unity across the empire. The Achaemenids also implemented innovative policies to manage the empire's multicultural population. Recognizing the value of cultural diversity, they allowed conquered peoples to retain their languages, religions, and local governance structures, provided they remained loyal to the empire and paid their taxes. This policy of cultural and religious tolerance helped prevent unrest and created a sense of inclusion among the empire's subjects. It also allowed the Achaemenids to tap into the talents and resources of their diverse populace, enriching the empire culturally and economically. Furthermore, the Persians excelled in record-keeping and bureaucracy. Royal archives were maintained to document laws, decrees, and transactions. These records, often inscribed on clay tablets or papyrus, ensured transparency and consistency in governance. The use of multiple languages in official inscriptions, such as Old Persian, Elamite, and Babylonian, reflects the empire's commitment to inclusivity and effective communication. Through these administrative innovations, the Achaemenid Empire achieved a level of organization and efficiency unmatched in the ancient world. Its governance model not only sustained the empire for over 2 centuries, but also left a lasting legacy, influencing later empires such as the Romans and the Byzantines. Cultural and religious tolerance. One of the defining features of the Persian Empire, and a cornerstone of its enduring success, was its policy of cultural and religious tolerance. This approach was revolutionary in an era when conquering powers often sought to impose their customs, languages, and religions on subjugated peoples. Instead of enforcing homogeneity, the Achaemenid rulers embraced the diversity of their vast empire, fostering loyalty and stability among its many ethnic and cultural groups. The origins of this policy can be traced to the empire's founder, Cyrus the Great. Upon conquering the Neo-Babylonian Empire in 539 BCE, Cyrus adopted a policy of respect and accommodation toward Babylon's rich traditions and religious practices. He presented himself not as an oppressor, but as a liberator chosen by the local god, Marduk, to restore order and justice. This strategy is vividly illustrated in the Cyrus Cylinder, which records his commitment to protecting religious institutions and allowing exiled communities, such as the Jews, to return to their homelands and rebuild their temples. This philosophy of tolerance was not merely symbolic. It became a practical and integral aspect of Persian governance. The Achaemenid rulers recognized that maintaining peace across their vast territories required respecting the autonomy and customs of the peoples they ruled. Local officials, languages, and traditions were preserved, and regional leaders often continued to govern under the empire's authority. This decentralized approach ensured that the diverse populations within the empire felt represented and valued. Religious tolerance, in particular, was a hallmark of the Persian Empire. The rulers did not impose Zoroastrianism, their state religion, on their subjects. Instead, they allowed the free practice of various faiths, including those of the Babylonians, Egyptians, Greeks, Jews, and others. Temples were protected, and religious festivals were often celebrated with royal patronage. This inclusivity not only prevented uprisings, but also enriched the empire culturally, as different religious traditions coexisted and influenced one another. The policy of tolerance extended to infrastructure and governance. For instance, inscriptions and decrees issued by the Achaemenid kings were often written in multiple languages, such as Old Persian, Elamite, and Babylonian, ensuring that they could be understood by people across the empire. This practice demonstrated the rulers' respect for linguistic diversity and their commitment to effective communication with their subjects. The Persian rulers also valued cultural exchange, which was facilitated by the empire's vast network of trade routes, including the Royal Road. These routes connected regions as far-flung as India, Egypt, and Greece, allowing ideas, art, and technology to flow freely. The result was a vibrant, cosmopolitan empire where different cultures could interact and influence one another. Persian art and architecture, for example, incorporated elements from Mesopotamia, Egypt, and the Greco-Roman world, creating a unique and enduring aesthetic. One of the most striking examples of the Persian Empire's tolerance was its relationship with the Jewish people. After Cyrus the Great permitted the Jews to return to Jerusalem and rebuild their temple, subsequent Achaemenid rulers continued to support them. Under Darius I and Xerxes I, the Persian court provided funds and protection for the construction of the Second Temple, a gesture that solidified the Jewish community's loyalty to the empire. The policy of cultural and religious tolerance was not merely a moral stance, but also a strategic one. By allowing subject peoples to retain their identities and traditions, the Achaemenid rulers minimized resistance and rebellions. This pragmatic approach ensured the stability and prosperity of the empire, as its diverse populations felt invested in its success. In the broader context of history, the Persian Empire's commitment to tolerance set it apart from many other ancient empires. While later rulers and civilizations would sometimes adopt similar policies, the Achaemenids were pioneers in recognizing that diversity could be a strength rather than a weakness. Their approach laid the foundation for an inclusive and cosmopolitan empire that thrived for over 2 centuries. Infrastructure and engineering achievements. The Persian Empire was not only renowned for its military prowess and administrative innovations, but also for its groundbreaking infrastructure and engineering projects. These achievements were instrumental in unifying its vast territories, enhancing communication, boosting trade, and solidifying its status as a dominant power in the ancient world. The Persian rulers, particularly Darius I and Xerxes I, invested heavily in constructing a network of roads, bridges, canals, and monumental architecture that showcased their empire's sophistication and ambition. One of the most iconic infrastructural accomplishments of the Persian Empire was the construction of the Royal Road, an extensive highway system that stretched over 1,500 miles from Susa in Persia to Sardis in Anatolia. The road connected key regions of the empire, enabling efficient communication and trade. Equipped with way stations and relay posts at regular intervals, the Royal Road allowed couriers to travel the entire route in just 7 days, a remarkable feat for the time. This infrastructure facilitated the swift transmission of royal decrees and military orders, strengthening the central authorities' control over distant provinces. Moreover, it became a vital artery for trade, linking markets from the Mediterranean to Central Asia. Another impressive engineering feat was the bridge construction undertaken during the reign of Xerxes I. As part of his campaign to invade Greece in 480 BCE, Xerxes ordered the building of 2 pontoon bridges across the Hellespont, modern-day Dardanelles, a strait separating Asia and Europe. These floating bridges, constructed from boats lashed together and anchored with cables, enabled Xerxes' massive army to cross into Europe. This ambitious project demonstrated not only Persian ingenuity, but also their ability to mobilize vast resources and manpower to achieve logistical challenges. The Persian Empire also excelled in the construction of canals and water management systems, reflecting their advanced understanding of hydraulic engineering. One of the most notable projects was the canal built by Darius I to connect the Nile River in Egypt to the Red Sea. This precursor to the modern Suez Canal facilitated trade between the Mediterranean and the Indian Ocean, enhancing the empire's economic integration and maritime commerce. Additionally, the Persians developed sophisticated canal systems, underground channels that transported water from aquifers to arid regions. These canals revolutionized agriculture and urban development in arid areas, supporting the empire's growing population and economic activities. The grandeur of Persian engineering extended to its architectural masterpieces, which were not only functional but also symbolic of the empire's power and cultural synthesis. The ceremonial capital of Persepolis, founded by Darius I, is a testament to the architectural and artistic achievements of the Achaemenids. Featuring monumental palaces, grand staircases, and intricately carved reliefs, Persepolis was designed to impress both domestic and foreign dignitaries. The city's architecture reflected the diversity of the empire, incorporating elements from Mesopotamian, Egyptian, and Greco-Roman styles. Its construction required the collaboration of artisans and engineers from across the empire, symbolizing the unity and cosmopolitan nature of the Persian state. Another key example of Persian engineering prowess was the development of fortified cities and defensive structures. The empire's strategic location and vast borders required a robust system of fortifications to protect against external threats. Persian engineers constructed impressive walls, gates, and citadels, blending functionality with aesthetic appeal. These structures not only safeguarded the empire, but also projected an image of strength and stability. The focus on infrastructure extended to urban planning and public works. Persian cities were meticulously designed, with attention to the needs of their inhabitants. Markets, temples, and administrative centers were integrated into the urban fabric, creating vibrant and functional urban environments. Roads, water systems, and storage facilities were developed to ensure the smooth functioning of cities and the well-being of their residents. In addition to their practical benefits, these infrastructural and engineering projects served a political purpose. They reinforced the legitimacy of the Achaemenid rulers by showcasing their ability to harness the empire's resources for the greater good. By connecting distant provinces, facilitating trade, and providing for their people, the Persian kings demonstrated their commitment to unity, prosperity, and progress. These accomplishments not only solidified the Persian Empire's position as a global superpower, but also left a lasting legacy that influenced subsequent civilizations. Conflict with Greece. The Persian Empire's interaction with the Greek world, particularly during the Greco-Persian Wars, represents one of the most dramatic and historically significant periods in ancient history. These conflicts, spanning from the late 6th century BCE to the early 5th century BCE, were not only military engagements but also cultural clashes that would shape the trajectory of Western and Eastern civilizations. The Persian efforts to expand their influence into Greece brought them into direct confrontation with the fiercely independent city-states, resulting in a series of epic battles that left a profound mark on both sides. The roots of the conflict lay in the empire's westward expansion under Cyrus the Great and his successors. By the late 6th century BCE, Persian control extended to the Aegean coast of Asia Minor, where they encountered Greek city-states such as Miletus, Ephesus, and others. These city-states, known as the Ionian Greeks, were culturally Greek but politically subjugated to Persian authority. While the Persian rulers allowed a degree of autonomy, the imposition of tribute and occasional interference in local governance bred resentment among the Ionian Greeks. The immediate spark for the Greco-Persian Wars was the Ionian Revolt, 499 to 493 BC, during which the Ionian Greeks, with support from Athens and Eretria, rebelled against Persian rule. The revolt began in Miletus and quickly spread across the region, fueled by dissatisfaction with Persian-appointed tyrants and the desire for greater independence. Although the rebellion was initially successful, with the burning of Sardis, a key Persian administrative center, the Persian Empire, under Darius I, swiftly retaliated. By 493 BCE, the revolt was crushed, and the Persian response was both punitive and strategic, reasserting control over the region. Darius I, angered by Athens and Eretria's support for the revolt, resolved to punish these city-states and expand Persian influence into mainland Greece. This led to the first Persian invasion of Greece in 490 BCE. The Persian forces, commanded by generals Datis and Artaphernes, sailed across the Aegean and captured Eretria. However, their advance was halted at the Battle of Marathon, where the Athenians, under the leadership of Miltiades, achieved a stunning victory against a numerically superior Persian force. The defeat at Marathon demonstrated the effectiveness of the Greek hoplite phalanx and boosted Greek confidence, but it also set the stage for further Persian attempts to subdue Greece. Following Darius's death in 486 BCE, his successor, Xerxes I, launched a massive campaign to conquer Greece. The Second Persian invasion of Greece, 480 to 479 BC, it was a monumental undertaking, involving a vast army and navy assembled from across the Persian Empire. Xerxes personally led the campaign, constructing elaborate logistical systems, including a canal at Mount Athos and the famous pontoon bridges over the Hellespont, to transport his forces into Europe. The scale of this invasion underscored Persia's determination to subjugate Greece and avenge earlier defeats. The Persian advance was initially successful, with key victories such as the capture and burning of Athens. However, the Greek city-states, despite their traditional rivalries, united under the leadership of Sparta and Athens to resist the invasion. The iconic Battle of Thermopylae in 480 BCE, where King Leonidas of Sparta and his 300 warriors made a legendary last stand against overwhelming Persian forces, became a symbol of Greek resilience and valor. Although the Persians ultimately won at Thermopylae, their progress was slowed, allowing the Greek allies to regroup. The turning point came at the Battle of Salamis later that year. The Greek navy, under Athenian commander Themistocles, lured the Persian fleet into the narrow straits of Salamis, where their larger, less maneuverable ships were decisively defeated. This victory not only crippled the Persian navy, but also forced Xerxes to withdraw the bulk of his forces back to Asia, leaving a smaller contingent under Mardonius to continue the campaign. The final blow to Persian ambitions in Greece came at the Battle of Plataea in 479 BCE, where the united Greek forces decisively defeated the remaining Persian army. The simultaneous Greek victory at Mycale effectively ended Persian attempts to conquer Greece and marked the beginning of a new era in Greek history, characterized by increased confidence and the eventual rise of Athens as a dominant power. The Greco-Persian Wars were more than just a series of battles. They were a clash of ideologies. The Greeks viewed the wars as a defense of their freedom and independence against Persian autocracy, a narrative that became central to the Western historical tradition. For the Persians, the wars were part of their broader strategy to maintain control over their empire and extend their influence into strategically important regions. Despite their failure to conquer Greece, the Persian Empire remained a formidable power, while the Greek victories at Marathon, Salamis, and Plataea inspired future generations and fueled the cultural and political developments of the classical age. These conflicts also had far-reaching consequences for both civilizations. The Greek triumphs allowed for the flourishing of their culture, philosophy, and democracy, which would profoundly influence the Western world. Meanwhile, the Persians, though unable to incorporate Greece into their empire, continued to dominate the Near East, adapting their strategies and governance to maintain their vast and diverse territories. The legacy of the Greco-Persian Wars serves as a testament to the resilience of both the Persian Empire and the Greek city-states, highlighting their respective strengths and the enduring impact of their encounters. The rise of Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrianism, the dominant religion of the Persian Empire, played a central role in shaping the cultural, social, and political framework of the Achaemenid dynasty. As one of the world's oldest known monotheistic religions, Zoroastrianism originated in ancient Persia and provided a moral and spiritual foundation that influenced the empire's governance, ideology, and daily life. The teachings of Zoroaster, or Zarathustra, the prophet and founder of the faith, emphasized dualism, the eternal struggle between good and evil, and the importance of individual choice in determining one's moral path. The origins of Zoroastrianism are believed to date back to the early 2nd millennium BCE, but the religion gained prominence with the rise of the Achaemenid Empire in the 6th century BCE. Zoroaster's teachings centered on the worship of Ahura Mazda, the supreme god, who represented wisdom, truth, and light. Opposed to Ahura Mazda was Ungra Mainyu, or Ahriman, the spirit of chaos and darkness. This dualistic worldview not only explained the forces of nature and human behavior, but also provided a framework for understanding the moral responsibilities of individuals and rulers. Cyrus the Great, the founder of the Achaemenid Empire, is often associated with Zoroastrian values, although the exact extent of his adherence to the faith remains debated. His policies of tolerance, justice, and benevolence reflect the Zoroastrian emphasis on righteousness and truth. Cyrus's proclamation in the Cyrus Cylinder, which advocates for the protection of religious institutions and the liberation of exiled peoples, aligns with the Zoroastrian ideal of Asha, the cosmic order and harmony that individuals are tasked to uphold. Under Darius I, Zoroastrianism became more closely linked with the imperial administration. Darius declared his devotion to Ahura Mazda in several inscriptions, most notably at Behistun, where he credited the deity with granting him the divine right to rule. This connection between religion and kingship solidified the role of Zoroastrianism as a unifying force within the empire. The king was seen as a divinely appointed protector of Asha, responsible for maintaining order and justice throughout the realm. This spiritual mandate not only legitimized the king's authority, but also fostered loyalty among his subjects. The ethical principles of Zoroastrianism, such as truthfulness, charity, and respect for all forms of life, permeated Persian society and governance. The religion's emphasis on free will and personal responsibility encouraged individuals to contribute to the well-being of their communities and the empire as a whole. This moral framework influenced Persian laws, which were designed to be fair and equitable, taking into account the diverse customs and traditions of the empire's many peoples. Zoroastrian rituals and symbols also became integral to the cultural identity of the Achaemenid Empire. Fire, a symbol of purity and the divine presence of Ahura Mazda, was central to Zoroastrian worship. Sacred fires were maintained in temples and homes, serving as focal points for prayer and communal gatherings. The fire temples, although not as architecturally grand as other structures of the empire, were significant religious sites where priests performed ceremonies and recited sacred hymns from the Avesta, the holy scripture of Zoroastrianism. The religion's influence extended beyond the spiritual realm, shaping the empire's administrative practices and policies. The Zoroastrian principle of dualism mirrored the division of the empire into satrapies, with the satraps acting as local guardians of Asha, maintaining order in their respective provinces. The emphasis on truth and justice informed the empire's legal system, which sought to balance the needs of diverse communities while upholding the overarching moral values of Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrianism also played a role in fostering a sense of unity and identity among the diverse populations of the Persian Empire. While the Achaemenid rulers practiced religious tolerance and respected the traditions of their subjects, Zoroastrianism provided a shared ethical and spiritual foundation that transcended ethnic and cultural differences. This inclusivity allowed the religion to coexist with other faiths, enriching the empire's cultural and religious tapestry. The impact of Zoroastrianism extended far beyond the Persian Empire, influencing later religious and philosophical traditions. Elements of Zoroastrian theology, such as the concepts of heaven, hell, and the final judgment, are thought to have shaped the development of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The religion's focus on moral dualism and individual responsibility resonated across cultures, leaving a lasting legacy that endures to this day. During the later years of the Achaemenid Empire, Zoroastrianism faced challenges as new cultural and religious influences, particularly from Greece, began to permeate Persian society. However, the religion remained a vital part of Persian identity, continuing to evolve and adapt through subsequent dynasties, including the Parthians and the Sassanids. Its resilience and adaptability underscore its significance as a cornerstone of Persian civilization and a major influence on the spiritual heritage of humanity. The influence of Persian art and architecture. Persian art and architecture are among the most enduring legacies of the Persian Empire, showcasing a blend of innovation, cultural synthesis, and grandiosity that reflected the empire's vast reach and diverse population. The Achaemenid rulers not only utilized art and architecture as expressions of their power and divine authority, but also as tools to unify their sprawling empire. These artistic and architectural achievements served as a testament to the sophistication and vision of Persian civilization, leaving a legacy that influenced subsequent empires and cultures for centuries. The most iconic example of Persian architecture is Persepolis, the ceremonial capital of the Achaemenid Empire. Founded by Darius I and expanded by his successors, Persepolis epitomized the grandeur and cosmopolitan nature of the Persian state. The city was designed as a venue for important events, particularly the New Year festival, and as a showcase of the empire's wealth and power. Its massive terraces, monumental staircases, and intricately carved reliefs were engineered to impress both Persian subjects and foreign dignitaries. The architectural layout, featuring spacious halls, columns, and courtyards, reflected a careful balance between functionality and aesthetic appeal. The reliefs adorning Persepolis are particularly significant. These carvings depict scenes of royal audiences, processions of tribute bearers from across the empire, and ceremonial activities. Each tribute bearer is shown in traditional attire, symbolizing the empire's cultural diversity and the king's authority over a vast and varied realm. The attention to detail and the harmonious integration of styles from different regions, such as Mesopotamian, Egyptian, and Greek influences, demonstrate the Achaemenid talent for synthesis and adaptation. This artistic inclusivity not only reinforced the empire's unity, but also celebrated the contributions of its diverse subjects. Beyond Persepolis, other Achaemenid sites, such as Susa and Pasargadae, highlight the sophistication of Persian architecture. Pasargadae, the first capital established by Cyrus the Great, features an innovative combination of Persian, Median, and Mesopotamian architectural styles. The Tomb of Cyrus, a simple yet imposing structure, reflects the Achaemenid emphasis on blending practicality with symbolic meaning. Susa, another key city, served as an administrative and cultural hub, with its palaces and structures adorned with glazed bricks and elaborate decorations. Persian engineering achievements also played a pivotal role in their architectural legacy. The Achaemenids were skilled at harnessing natural resources and adapting to their environment. For instance, they constructed advanced water management systems, including canals and irrigation canals, to support agriculture and urban development. These systems not only enhanced the functionality of their cities, but also demonstrated the empire's commitment to sustainability and innovation. The influence of Persian art extended beyond monumental architecture to include intricate metalwork, ceramics, and textiles. Persian artisans were renowned for their craftsmanship, producing exquisite items such as gold and silver vessels, jewelry, and finely woven carpets. These objects were not only prized for their beauty, but also served as symbols of wealth and prestige, often given as diplomatic gifts to foreign rulers. The motifs in Persian art, such as floral patterns, animals, and geometric designs, reflected a deep appreciation for nature and symmetry, as well as the influence of Zoroastrian themes of balance and harmony. Another key aspect of Persian art was its role in communication and propaganda. The Behistun inscription, a monumental relief and trilingual inscription commissioned by Darius I, is a prime example of art serving a political purpose. Carved into a mountainside, the inscription recounts Darius's rise to power and his victories over rebellious factions, presenting him as a divinely sanctioned ruler. Written in Old Persian, Elamite, and Babylonian, the inscription was intended to convey its message to a wide audience, reinforcing Darius's legitimacy and the unity of the empire. Persian architecture also emphasized accessibility and inclusivity. Structures such as the Apadana, the great audience hall at Persepolis, were designed to accommodate large gatherings of officials, representatives, and visitors from across the empire. The layout of these spaces encouraged interaction and dialogue, reflecting the Achaemenid rulers' efforts to foster cooperation and loyalty among their subjects. The artistic and architectural achievements of the Persian Empire were not merely decorative or ceremonial. They were deeply intertwined with the empire's political and cultural identity. Through their art and architecture, the Achaemenids communicated their vision of a unified, prosperous, and cosmopolitan empire. These creations also served to inspire loyalty, awe, and a sense of belonging among their subjects, while projecting their power and sophistication to the wider world. The legacy of Persian art and architecture endured long after the fall of the Achaemenid Empire. Subsequent empires, such as the Parthians, Sassanids, and even the Islamic caliphates, drew inspiration from Achaemenid designs and motifs. Elements of Persian style can also be seen in Greco-Roman art and architecture, reflecting the cultural exchanges that occurred during and after the Persian Empire's interactions with the Hellenistic world. This lasting influence highlights the Achaemenid Empire's role as a cultural bridge, connecting the ancient Near East, Central Asia, and the Mediterranean in a shared artistic heritage. The decline and fall of the Achaemenid Empire. The Achaemenid Empire, once a symbol of grandeur and dominance, gradually succumbed to internal strife, external pressures, and the changing dynamics of the ancient world. From its peak during the reign of Darius I and Xerxes I, the empire faced mounting challenges that eventually led to its downfall. The decline was not the result of a single event, but a combination of factors, including political fragmentation, economic instability, administrative weaknesses, and the rise of external powers such as Alexander the Great and the subsequent Seleucid Empire. These challenges culminated in the fall of the Achaemenid Empire, marking the end of one of the most influential and powerful civilizations of the ancient world. One of the key factors contributing to the empire's decline was its immense size and complexity. The vast territories, stretching from the Indus Valley in the east to the Aegean Sea in the west, were difficult to govern effectively. While the Achaemenid rulers implemented a sophisticated administrative system, consisting of satrapies, provincial districts, and a network of local officials, the sheer size of the empire made it hard to maintain centralized control. This created opportunities for regional satraps to exercise autonomy, leading to political fragmentation and weakened authority from the imperial center. Moreover, the empire's administrative system, while innovative, was not immune to corruption and inefficiency. The use of intermediaries such as governors and local administrators meant that royal decrees were not always carried out as intended. Some satraps pursued personal agendas, enriching themselves at the expense of the central government and exacerbating regional discontent. Revolts and uprisings became increasingly common, and the loyalty of provinces began to waver, posing a serious threat to the empire's unity. Economically, the Achaemenid Empire faced significant challenges. The empire's reliance on tribute, taxation, and resource extraction placed a heavy burden on its subjects. Additionally, the vast expenditures associated with maintaining a sprawling empire, along with costly wars and ambitious building projects, strained the royal treasury. The influx of wealth from conquered territories often resulted in inflation and economic imbalance, affecting both the lower classes and the imperial elite. The most significant external threat to the Achaemenid Empire was the rise of Alexander the Great. By the late 4th century BCE, the Macedonian king began his campaign to conquer Persia, driven by the desire to expand Greek influence and avenge the earlier Persian invasions of Greece. After his decisive victory at the Battle of Issus in 333 BCE, followed by the fall of key cities like Tyre and Gaza, Alexander marched deeper into Persian territory. The decisive Battle of Gaugamela in 331 BCE marked a turning point, where Alexander decisively defeated Darius III, the last Achaemenid king, and captured the Persian capital of Persepolis. Following the conquest, Alexander established the Seleucid Empire, which absorbed much of the former Achaemenid territory. However, the collapse of the Achaemenid Empire did not occur overnight. The empire had endured multiple setbacks and challenges prior to Alexander's invasion, and his conquests merely accelerated the process of disintegration. The loss of Persepolis, a symbol of Achaemenid power and prestige, symbolized the empire's ultimate downfall, though pockets of resistance continued to exist, particularly under local leaders and regional powers such as the Parthians. The Seleucid Empire, while inheriting the administrative and cultural framework of the Achaemenids, struggled to maintain control over such vast and diverse territories. The collapse of Seleucid power in turn led to the rise of successor states, including the Parthians and eventually the Sassanids, who re-established a distinctly Persian identity in their governance and cultural practices. Although the Achaemenid Empire fell, its legacy persisted through these later dynasties, which retained elements of Persian culture, administration, and religion. Furthermore, the spread of Hellenistic influences, combined with cultural exchanges between the Persian, Greek, and other civilizations, enriched the legacy of the Achaemenid Empire. Despite its eventual fall, the empire's achievements in administration, infrastructure, art, and diplomacy had a lasting impact on subsequent empires and civilizations, shaping the ancient and medieval world for centuries. The fall of the Achaemenid Empire serves as a testament to the complexities of ruling such an expansive and diverse territory. While external conquests played a significant role in its decline, internal challenges such as political fragmentation, economic instability, and administrative shortcomings were equally critical factors. The enduring legacy of the Achaemenid Empire, however, underscores the enduring impact of Persian civilization on world history, demonstrating its ability to shape and influence the trajectory of empires for generations to come. Cultural and political legacy of the Persian Empire. The Persian Empire, particularly during the Achaemenid dynasty, left an indelible mark on world history through its remarkable contributions to culture, governance, and diplomacy. Beyond its military and administrative prowess, the Persian Empire was a beacon of innovation, fostering a rich tapestry of ideas, philosophies, arts, and institutions that influenced subsequent empires and civilizations for centuries. Its legacy is evident in various aspects of ancient and modern societies, from political systems to cultural practices, shaping the course of history in profound ways. One of the most significant aspects of the Persian Empire's cultural legacy was its embrace of diversity. With a vast empire that stretched across 3 continents, from the Mediterranean to the Indus Valley, the Achaemenids excelled at accommodating the distinct customs, languages, religions, and traditions of the many peoples they ruled. Persian rulers such as Cyrus the Great championed a policy of tolerance, allowing local customs to coexist alongside Zoroastrianism and other state-sanctioned practices. This inclusiveness not only preserved the identities of conquered populations, but also promoted a sense of unity within the empire. The concept of cultural exchange played a pivotal role in shaping the Persian Empire's political and artistic achievements. The Achaemenids actively sought to integrate the art, architecture, and administrative practices of neighboring civilizations, resulting in a fusion of styles and innovations. For instance, Persian architecture, such as the palatial structures of Persepolis, combined elements from Mesopotamian, Greek, and Egyptian traditions. Similarly, the empire's legal system was influenced by earlier Mesopotamian codes, while adapting to the empire's unique needs, creating a balanced system of governance that managed a diverse population effectively. Another critical component of the Persian Empire's legacy was its establishment of centralized bureaucracy and administrative organization. Under rulers like Darius I, the empire was divided into satrapies, each governed by a local satrap, provincial governor, who reported directly to the king. This administrative framework was revolutionary for its time, allowing for efficient management of vast territories. By implementing a sophisticated communication system, including a network of roads, courier stations, and standardized weights and measures, the Persians facilitated governance and integration, which were essential to maintaining control over a sprawling empire. This innovation set a precedent for future empires, influencing the Roman Empire and later states. In the realm of diplomacy, the Persian Empire established itself as a masterful practitioner of negotiation and peace-building. Persian rulers maintained positive relations with neighboring states through treaties, alliances, and mutual respect for cultural diversity. Cyrus the Great's famous proclamation in the Cyrus Cylinder, which speaks of liberating oppressed peoples and respecting local customs, is often cited as a milestone in the development of human rights and international law. This commitment to diplomacy and peace allowed the empire to thrive for over 2 centuries, avoiding unnecessary conflicts and focusing on stabilizing and expanding its territory. The Persian Empire's influence extended beyond governance and political systems into the realms of philosophy, science, and education. During the empire's zenith, intellectual pursuits flourished within its borders. Scholars from diverse regions collaborated and contributed to advancements in areas such as mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and engineering. The empire's promotion of knowledge transfer and research paved the way for developments that later influenced the intellectual landscape of Europe and Asia. Zoroastrianism, the official religion of the Persian Empire, also left a lasting legacy. Its ethical teachings of dualism, moral accountability, and the importance of free will have had enduring philosophical and spiritual influences, which permeated both Eastern and Western thought. Concepts of judgment, the afterlife, and personal responsibility were interwoven into the empire's broader worldview, shaping the spiritual and ethical foundations of civilizations that followed, including later Christian, Islamic, and Buddhist traditions. The Persian Empire also made significant contributions to infrastructure and urban planning. From the development of vast road networks to the construction of sophisticated water management systems, Persian engineers transformed the physical landscape of their empire. Cities like Pasargadae, Susa, and Persepolis showcase the empire's dedication to creating functional, well-organized, and aesthetically pleasing urban spaces. These efforts reflected the empire's ability to blend practicality with grandeur, ensuring that both the needs of its citizens and the ambitions of its rulers were met. Ultimately, the cultural and political legacy of the Persian Empire is a testament to its innovative spirit and adaptability. The empire's ability to amalgamate and synthesize the best elements from various cultures created a model of governance and cultural achievement that resonated far beyond its territorial boundaries. While the empire eventually fell to external pressures and internal challenges, its contributions to law, administration, diplomacy, art, and philosophy continued to influence subsequent empires, shaping the development of civilizations in both the ancient and modern worlds. The Persian legacy remains a defining feature of global history, embodying the enduring power of diverse cultures working together in pursuit of shared prosperity and knowledge. Cultural and political legacy of the Sassanian Empire. The Sassanian Empire, 224 to 651 CE, emerged as the successor to the Achaemenid Empire and became one of the most significant dynasties in Persian history. During its reign, the Sassanian Empire reached new heights in terms of governance, culture, and military strength, while continuing to uphold many of the traditions established by earlier Persian empires. The legacy of the Sassanian Empire had a profound influence on the Islamic Golden Age, the Byzantine Empire, and the broader development of medieval civilizations across Asia, Europe, and the Middle East. Its impact on art, administration, religion, and diplomacy is still evident in contemporary Persian and Islamic traditions. The political structure of the Sassanian Empire was heavily influenced by the Achaemenid model, incorporating centralized authority, a highly organized bureaucracy, and a well-defined system of provincial governance. The Sassanian kings, Shahanshah, were considered divine monarchs, inheriting the role of upholding cosmic order, Asha, and ensuring the welfare of their subjects. Unlike earlier Persian empires, the Sassanian rulers centralized power to a greater extent, reducing the autonomy of local satraps and provincial leaders. This concentration of power allowed the Sassanian kings to maintain stability and ensure uniformity in administration across their vast territories. The Sassanian Empire expanded to encompass modern-day Iran, Iraq, Syria, Turkey, and Central Asia. This territorial expanse was strategically vital, connecting major trade routes, from the Silk Road to the Mediterranean, making the empire a hub of commerce and cultural exchange. Trade was a significant driver of economic prosperity, with goods such as silk, spices, precious metals, and textiles flowing into and out of Sassanian territories. The administrative reforms of the Sassanian rulers facilitated these economic activities, promoting the use of standardized weights and measures, protecting merchants, and fostering relations with neighboring empires like the Byzantine Empire, the Hephthalites, and the various Central Asian kingdoms. Culturally, the Sassanian Empire witnessed a flourishing of Persian art, literature, and architecture, much of which laid the groundwork for the Islamic Golden Age. Sassanian art, characterized by intricate motifs, bold imagery, and symbolic meaning, influenced subsequent Persian and Islamic artistic traditions. The Sassanian use of visual storytelling, especially in sculptural and mosaic work, emphasized symbolic depictions of mythological and royal themes. For example, Sassanian palaces such as Ctesiphon showcased grand columns, vaulted ceilings, and elaborate frescoes depicting scenes of divine kingship, strength, and power. The empire also preserved and developed many aspects of Zoroastrianism, which had become deeply embedded in Persian culture during the Achaemenid era. Zoroastrianism became the official religion of the Sassanian Empire, shaping the spiritual and ethical framework of the society. The Sassanian kings, like their predecessors, were considered the protectors of Zoroastrianism and acted as patrons of fire temples, scholars, and religious leaders. These rulers sought to preserve the ancient texts of the Avesta and fostered religious institutions that would guide moral and political life. One of the most notable contributions of the Sassanian Empire to world history was the establishment of a sophisticated administrative system, particularly in terms of legal codes. The Sassanian rulers refined earlier Persian legal systems, incorporating elements of earlier Mesopotamian, Greek, and Roman law, resulting in a comprehensive legal framework. The Sassanian Empire is often credited with influencing Islamic law and medieval European legal systems. The Qarn-Amagon, Book of Rulers, one of the most influential legal texts of the Sassanian period, helped codify legal principles in areas such as justice, taxation, land ownership, and trade regulation. Sassanian diplomacy, much like that of previous Persian empires, focused on fostering relationships with neighboring states through alliances, treaties, and marriages between royal families. The Sassanian kings often engaged in diplomatic exchanges with the Byzantine Empire, frequently clashing in battles along the borders of Mesopotamia and Asia Minor. These interactions were critical in shaping the balance of power in the region, with the Sassanian Empire maintaining a dominant position in Iran and the surrounding areas for several centuries. The fall of the Sassanian Empire in 651 CE to the Islamic Caliphate marked the end of the empire's political dominance, but its cultural and intellectual contributions endured. After the Arab conquest, Persian art, language, and cultural traditions were absorbed into Islamic culture, leading to a fusion of Islamic and Persian identities. The Sassanian era left a profound impact on Islamic architecture, poetry, and philosophy, particularly during the flourishing period of the Islamic Golden Age. The Sassanian Empire also had a lasting influence on Persian identity, fostering a sense of pride and continuity that has been preserved through centuries of subsequent Persian dynasties, including the Safavid, Qajar, and Pahlavi empires. The legacy of the Sassanian Empire can still be seen in modern Persian culture, literature, and national identity, symbolizing a rich heritage rooted in the grandeur of ancient Persia. Through its political innovations, artistic achievements, and religious contributions, the Sassanian Empire played a critical role in shaping the history of the Middle East and beyond. The legacy of Persian influence in modern times. The legacy of the Persian Empire, particularly the Achaemenid and Sassanian periods, continues to have a profound impact on modern culture, politics, and society. From art and architecture to governance and philosophy, Persian influence has left an indelible mark on both the Middle East and the broader world. As Persia transitioned through various dynasties, from the conquests of Alexander the Great to the Islamic Caliphate, the cultural, linguistic, and administrative foundations established by these empires evolved, shaping the identity of modern Iran and influencing neighboring regions for centuries. One of the most enduring aspects of the Persian legacy is its contributions to art and architecture. Persian art, with its intricate designs, geometric patterns, and symbolic motifs, has become a defining feature of Islamic and Middle Eastern aesthetics. The fusion of Persian, Islamic, and global styles reflects a continuous tradition of innovation that began with the Achaemenid Empire. Structures such as mosques, palaces, and royal gardens that emerged during the Safavid, Qajar, and Pahlavi dynasties drew heavily from Sassanian and earlier Persian traditions. For instance, the use of tiled mosaics, calligraphy, and detailed frescoes has continued to influence modern Persian architecture and design. In terms of language, Persian has maintained its importance as a vital cultural and literary language throughout history. The Achaemenid Empire standardized Old Persian as an administrative and ceremonial language, a tradition that carried forward into the Sassanian era. The rich literary heritage of Persian, including works by poets such as Ferdowsi, Omar Khayyam, and Rumi, reflects centuries of philosophical and cultural thought. Modern Persian, or Farsi, remains one of the official languages of Iran and has spread to other countries with Persian-speaking communities, including Afghanistan and Tajikistan. The Persian legacy is also evident in political systems and governance. The idea of centralized authority, regional administration, and a structured bureaucracy, established during the Achaemenid and refined by the Sassanian Empire, influenced later Islamic empires such as the Abbasids and Ottoman Turks. The emphasis on legal frameworks, justice systems, and administrative efficiency has been inherited by contemporary Iranian governance. Even in modern-day Iran, elements of Achaemenid administrative practices are recognized in the organization of government institutions and regional divisions. Furthermore, Persian influence has been significant in fostering intellectual and philosophical developments. The pursuit of knowledge and scholarship during the Persian empires laid the groundwork for the scientific, philosophical, and literary advancements that were later embraced by the Islamic Golden Age. The works of Persian polymaths like Avicenna, Ibn Sina, Al-Farabi, and Al-Khwarizmi were integral to shaping fields such as medicine, mathematics, astronomy, and engineering. This legacy of intellectual curiosity and scientific exploration continues to resonate in the academic world today. The Persian Empire also played a key role in the spread of cultural exchanges across vast regions. Persian art, literature, and diplomatic practices were influential in shaping relationships with neighboring civilizations such as the Greeks, Egyptians, and Central Asian peoples. The Sassanian Empire, for example, facilitated cross-cultural interactions that extended to Byzantine Europe and Central Asia, influencing trade, philosophy, and artistic styles. This spirit of inclusivity and cultural exchange has become a cornerstone of modern multiculturalism in the Middle East. In terms of religion, the legacy of Zoroastrianism and its ethical teachings has left an enduring impact, even in non-Zoroastrian contexts. Elements of Zoroastrian beliefs, such as dualism, the struggle between good and evil, and the importance of justice and order, are echoed in various faith traditions, including Christianity and Islam. The ongoing reverence for Persian mythology, including figures like Cyrus the Great and the ideals of kingship and cosmic order, maintains a place in national pride and identity for modern Iranians and other Persian communities. Finally, Persian influence extends into modern-day geopolitics. The Persian Empire's historical role as a power in diplomacy, particularly through the use of alliances, treaties, and strategic influence, remains relevant in contemporary international relations. Iran, as a modern state with a rich Persian heritage, continues to engage in diplomatic discussions with regional powers, and its influence is felt in matters concerning trade, security, and regional stability. In sum, the legacy of the Persian Empire is deeply embedded in modern society, spanning art, governance, philosophy, and cultural identity. Whether through the preservation of ancient traditions or the innovation of contemporary practices, the rich history of Persia continues to shape the world in profound ways, ensuring its place as one of the most influential civilizations in human history.